Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, this looks hazy. Okay, let me see if I can adjust this, if it looks a little bit better. Meh, okay, it's a little bit better. To me, it looks very hazy. It's really gray today. We had rain all weekend, so, Anyway, good afternoon, good Sunday afternoon. Welcome back to my channel. Just realized that I'm wearing gray again. Seriously, I don't have this much gray in my wardrobe. Honestly, the color I have the most of in my wardrobe is highlighter yellow because every shirt that I wear for work now, this year they made them all highlighter yellow. And then I wear a highlighter yellow hoodie when it's kind of like a little chilly out. And then I also have a highlighter yellow fleece, like pullover kind of zippy thing for when it's super cold, right? So of all the colors in my wardrobe, highlighter yellow is number one. I have the most of that particular color. So yeah, go figure, right? So before we get started, because I'm afraid I'm going to forget, I found two new YouTubers this week that I really liked. One is, I already can't remember her name. Isn't that horrible? Her last name's Larson. I can't remember what her first name is. I want to say Brie Larson, but that's the actress. And then another woman, and it's the thread and the needlefish. Anyway, their links are below because I was so entertained by both of them as YouTubers. Both of them are doing, hello, hi, Olivia. Both of them are doing, kind of like, they're kind of doing pattern reviews. The woman that does thread and needlefish, she does all mock-ups, and she does a lot of the vintage reissues. And she talks about, and she doesn't compare it to the originals like Stephanie Canada does, but she does the vintage reissues. And she talks about like things she had trouble with, things that didn't make sense, like, and I love those because before I make a project, I like to know, like, am I the only, or when I'm working on a project, actually, am I the only person having the trouble with the placket? And then to find out that no, you're not. Everybody has trouble with this placket, things like that. And then the other one, I can't believe I can't remember her first name, Larson. She also does them. And interestingly, I was watching a video of hers this morning. She wanted to make herself a dress. So what she did was she took 3 patterns that she had, and she had a lot of this red gingham check fabric that wasn't really her thing, but she decided to do the mock-ups, and she did all 3 of the patterns. And then she talked about what the issues were that she found with the patterns. And these were not vintage reissues. These were modern butterick patterns for sundresses. I started to also watch this video she had, and I didn't get all the way through, but for Halloween, she made her family the Addams Family outfits. So her husband was Gomez, she was Morticia, and her daughter was Wednesday. And it looked really cute. I was watching, it looked really cute. But so speaking of sewing, I don't know what happened to me yesterday, but I guess I hit that creative wall and I was like, I need to sew something. So I pulled out this pattern and I am making the skirt. This is all separate. It's not a dress, it's separate. I'm making the skirt. I am using this lovely Santa kind of vintagey Christmas fabric, which I believe I showed you when I did the haul for this. I can't remember if I did this in July or August, but it was, like really deep discount at Joann's, of course, because it's last year's Christmas fabric. But I really liked it. It's postcards. I thought it was cute. Now, me being me, I did not have my readers on, and it was about 7:30 at night. And even though that's not very late, I was really exhausted. I had been up since like 5:30 in the morning, and I was tired. Well, so what did I do? I cut 2 pieces of the skirt front, which you're only supposed to cut 1 piece of. And then I cut 1 piece of the skirt back, which you're only supposed to, cut 1 piece of, right? Or I'm sorry, I cut 2 pieces of the skirt back. No, what did I do? Wait, did I do that? No, I cut 2 pieces of the skirt front. and I cut only one piece of the skirt back. Now, here's the problem. That skirt front is really large, and I couldn't figure out, like, wow, I so underestimated how much fabric I had. Well, that's why, because I had cut this giant front piece. I had cut two of them instead of one. So this is what happens. Never sew when you're drunk, right? Never cut your fabric or sew when you're really tired, because you just like, you make these stupid mistakes. And at all times, wear your readers when you're, cutting out pattern pieces. I should put that one on the wall, wear your readers, because it was so stupid. What a stupid mistake. But so I'm going to go back. I'm going to take the pieces. I'm going to cut the, I'm going to cut I'm going to cut the two front pieces down to the correct size, and hopefully it'll all work out. It's looks like a relatively simple skirt. It only has 4 pieces and then pockets. So 5 pieces total. I mean, it looks pretty basic. I'll show you. You can kind of see the line. See the line drawings? I heard that the line drawings don't focus well. So let me see. I'm going to give them all a little bit more time this week to see if we can get, because I think what's happening is the camera's having trouble focusing on it, because it tends to autofocus on someone's face. So then it has to focus on the pattern. So if you looked at my Etsy page this week, you notice that I put up aprons and all kinds of stuff. Well, one of the aprons that I found, one of the patterns was this one. And it's from 2000. It's not super old. It was in Mrs. Landis's patterns. So 2000, it's in with some of the last patterns she bought. And I thought it was cute. And I was going to put it up online. And I was like, oh, it's so cute. I really should keep it because I like this one and this one. And I thought, well, no, I'll sell it. Well, it turns out when I got to looking for the pattern online, it was only like about $4, right? So let me explain so I've decided to keep it, by the way, and I don't know what kind of fabric I'm going to use for it, but I'm going to keep this pattern. So let me explain briefly what I do. When I get a pattern, I go and I look at what other people are selling the pattern for. Now, usually I'm pretty close to like what I would call like the mean price, right? Right in the middle. But like this is a good example of a pattern that one woman was selling it for $4.22, and someone else was selling it for $14.99, and someone else was selling it for an even $15. I have to beat the lowest price. And $14.99 and $15 were just too high. I get it. It's out of print. I get that it's cute. I get that it's retro aprons, which we all love, right? But, you have to be reasonable. So anyway, I ended up deciding to keep it because it was so cheap online. So another pattern of mine that I'm keeping, and this was one that I pulled, is this pattern. So another customer bought this week. And when she did, I took a look at it and I thought, oh, it's kind of a cute pattern, right? Let me get this to autofocus. I'm going to put it in front of my face. There we go. And I thought, this is really cute, basic 1960s dress. I'm not in love with this ruffly sleeve thing, but I think you could just make it with a straight sleeve. And there's actually an option for making it sleeveless with a different kind of collar. This pattern is actually how I stumbled across Thread and Needlefish. I'm sorry, I don't know what her name is, across her YouTube page, because her YouTube channel, she made this and she did the mock-up and she talked about some of the issues she had. If I remember correctly, she's issues with the bust, and then this skirt has so much volume. And then we're just going to talk about this briefly. I feel like I overpaid for this fabric. See, it's $4.99. Maybe not. I mean, it's 2 yards and I paid $5 for it. It wasn't one of the days that I got a discount, so I definitely paid $4.99 for it. So that makes it like $2.50 a yard. That's not horrible, but I just don't know what I'm going to do with this. It may become an apron because it is quite pretty. I really like this, how beautiful it is, but we'll see. All right, so onward and upward, let's talk about patterns. So, like I said in the intro, this week I really focused on craft patterns. I did not get as many done as I wanted to, which I know I say that every week, but this week was no different. I really wanted to get more done, and the week just kind of got away from me. Everything with the holidays is all ramping up, and we're having all kinds of stuff that I have to get done. So I started with patterns like this. So cute, right? Vintage apron pattern. And it includes the oven mitts. And then did you see that long oven mitt, the kind that's like a pot mitt? You can see it on the back much better. That's part of the pattern. And these letters, these like very 70s block letters are in here. And they're iron-on and they were unused. So I was really happy about that. And then we moved on to this, a vintage style aprons, but done in the I think this was 1970s. And if you look on the back, you can see one of them has flower pots, but you can see it better on the front. And so the appliques for the flower pot apron are also in there, and that's nice. Okay. Pinafore aprons. So this was great because I don't know why, but pinafore aprons tend to sell a lot better for me than regular apron patterns, if you can imagine, right? And then a couple children's. Now these are children's aprons, but look, very vintage kind of style, huh? Yeah. And then we went right into ornaments. I'm going to take this one out of the bag. This one, I don't know if you'll be able to see. Can you see that blue? Okay. This is Oliver Gooden, who I have never heard of until I started to find his patterns. He apparently is like the king of smocking. And this heirloom thing is on a lot of his patterns. So these are Christmas decorations, tree topper, the angel tree topper, the wreath, the Christmas stockings, all that, some ornaments. And you get the blue wax. See, this is the problem. This is not going to show up. There we go. You get the blue wax transfers for the smocking. And I guess that's his kind of claim to fame, because I have some children's patterns by him that also have the blue wax smocking. So I guess it's his thing. This pattern, this is an interesting pattern because it's really, you can do the witch, which is Halloween, or you can do an angel for your tree topper, and it's just dolls. I have so many doll patterns. Not only do I have doll patterns, I have patterns for things like a cloth duck, in case you just wanted a cloth duck in your kitchen. It serves no purpose. It's just basically a cloth duck, right? Hello, Evangelina. How are you? Happy Sunday. I have a lot of those. In fact, and I've talked about this before, I have a ton of patterns that are like crows dressed as children, rabbits just dressed as children, cats dressed as children. Cows dressed as children, and they're always really like children. They're children's clothes. They're not, kind of adult style clothes. Some of them are more modern, and then some of them are like really nostalgic, like they'll have a patch on the pants or whatever. I'm like, I don't remember this trend, but it must have been a trend because I have a plethora of these patterns. All right, so here's another, just a basic Christmas pattern. Again, this one, I believe, also has a tree skirt, ornaments, wreaths, stockings. I tried to really hard this week to get all this stuff put up online, because this is the kind of thing that if I wanted to make any of these, I would want that pattern now. So, and then some wreaths. I do remember this. I remember the wreath phase. I have a confession to make. I made a wreath for my sister. I made a wreath for my mother, and I made a wreath for my best friend. And until, I am not kidding you, like maybe 2 years ago, my sister still had that wreath. Remember that phase? Remember the wreath phase? This one threw me off because I just thought, okay, well, this is just like little toys or something. But then I saw that they had Christmas ornaments, and these are all made out of peg-style clothespins or wooden thread bobbins. So very cute, very country, very cute. All right, this pattern, oh, this pattern is so weird. Okay, so the name of it is just gardening accessories, right? So it has a hat and, you know, all this other stuff. And no line drawings on the back, but I'm going to show you these line drawings. It has 2 apron styles, which they don't even show on the front of the, they don't show them on the front of the envelope. So you have the long apron, the shorter waist apron, and then a bucket apron. There's the hat. Why they didn't put the apron on the front of this pattern doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know if they, yeah, is this McCall's? This is, no, it's Simplicity. I guess Simplicity felt that the apron did not warrant attention or something, but so I threw that one in with the aprons because I thought between the sun hat and the apron, if you know somebody that gardens, it might be the perfect gift for them. Okay, now it's going to get a little weird because some of this stuff is, I guess it could be a gift, you know, that kind of thing. Here's the first one. They are pot holders. It's a learn to sew pattern. It has an actual brochure in there about learning to sew and basic stitches and things like that. There are no line drawings on the back, but as you can see, it is grapes. I guess one's an apple, one's a tomato, a pear, and corn on the cob. And it is from 1973. I know, hard to believe. Hard to believe, right? And then there's this. This was interesting to me. So it is the, and this was great. When I opened this up, this not only has directions for doing the embroidery stitches. Like if you had never embroidered, the directions with the names and how to do the stitches are all in here as the directions. And they are blue wax. They're not, I'm sorry, they're not in a wax. They're blue transfers. So they're on white paper and they're blue and they transfer. And then here were some ideas of what you can do with them. But what I thought was great was that it actually shows you the stitches for the different, you know, designs. And it's all these designs. And I thought it was funny. Let me see the one. Oh, yeah. Remember these? Remember in the 90s where everybody had a family crest? Even if you never had a family crest before? This was another great one that I thought this is going to make a nice gift. So in here is the directions for cutting out the actual pillow. And then a transfer for the front of your fabric for all of this daisy work, plus the instructions for doing the embroidery, and then also instructions on how to sew the pillow together. And then here's a guide where they talk about the colors. Isn't that awesome? So I thought this was a really interesting patterns. I never really see patterns like that anymore. They might still make them. I don't know. This was another one that was really interesting. In here are wax transfers, and it's for all of these different samplers, these embroidery samplers. Sorry, there's actually no, there isn't actually line drawings on the back of this. But this one was another one that also had the instructions. This was mostly, yeah, this was all cross stitch, but it gave you the directions for making these. Like it, after you do it, it says like, you know, use whatever color here, and then start working on, like, it'll tell you like to work on the outside of this, then it'll work on the ring, then you're going to work on the character, you know, like that. So I thought they were really nice beginner patterns for someone who doesn't do embroidery. All right, so then here she is. I have so many Holly Hobby things. I have clothes. I have these embroidery wall hangings. I have the doll. I have the clothes for the doll. I have the matching clothes for the doll and the girl. So there's going to be a lot of Holly Hobby in our future. And again, transfers and then directions on how to actually do the stitches needed. And then here's the color chart. So still, you know, pretty groovy. Okay, these next ones, if you're a child of the 90s, you might remember these. I do not. Not a child of the 90s. But interestingly, I have to be honest, I was shocked how much I could charge for these. I was really shocked. They are the pillow people. So this one is, which one is this one? This one is, oh, Sweet Dreams and Mr. Sandman. And I have both patterns for all 4 of them that are shown below. So I'm selling them as a set, as a lot. And I'm sorry, there's no line drawings on the back of these. And then this one is Rockabye Baby and Pillow Fighter. But interestingly, when I look these up online, when you put in pillow people, because I couldn't find these patterns online, so I put in pillow people. I guess in the 90s, pillow people, I don't know if it was a cartoon or what, but there were people selling their vintage pillowcases, their vintage sheets, their vintage all kinds of stuff. Vintage, there was a vintage comforter, and I was like, I don't even remember the pillow people. I don't remember them at all, but whatever. I know, Olivia, Holly Hobby. Remember when we were girls? Holly Hobby she was it, man. All right, so I think I talked about this last week, how I said I had found a pattern that was just basically like fleece items. So I put that up there too. I thought, this is something you want to make somebody a quick gift, make them a little fleece set. And then I found this. You know what? I'm sorry. This one, it started to fall apart. Let me see if I can get, you know what? I'm going to take the envelope out, but the envelope itself is, like the glue was coming off. The envelope wasn't staying together, but I'll take it out for you guys. I'll just be careful with it. So it is, yes, it's scrunchies, but look up here in this corner. That dog is a dog scrunchie that she has on her arm, and not shown on here is a little heart coin purse that has straps. And I was like, well, that is super cute. Weird, but very grandma, right? Grandma would get you that. Grandma would get you like the dog hair scrunchie. Who knows who's going to buy this, though? For all I know, it's going to be like a 30-year-old woman who's reliving her childhood and wants the pattern for the dog scrunchie. And hey, if it makes her happy, good for her, right? She can go. If it makes you happy, go. This is another one that I found that I thought was kind of a interesting. So it's the rain poncho, a tote bag, 2 different size backpacks, but then also, can you see that? That's a computer cover and a keyboard cover. Gee, this isn't old, is it? I believe it's from 93. So it made sense in 93, but I still thought it was not bad. And honestly, the computer cover is so big, it would probably be a great sewing machine cover, because it's covering, you can see on the front of it, it's covering one of those huge computers that we all had in the 90s. Just let me see if you can you see it? See how enormous it is? Remember those enormous computers that we used to have, and the TVs that were a giant triangle in the back. Okay, so I forgot about these. These are McCall's, and they are Christmas patterns, and somehow they didn't get mixed in with the Christmas stuff. So as per with McCall's, there's no line drawings on the back, but you can see it is ornaments, a tree skirt. Are there Christmas stockings? No, but there is some kind of wall hanging. Okay, there's some kind of wall hanging. And yeah, very country. I'm wondering what the name is. Most of these end up having names. Oh no, this is by Marty Mitchell, who I have a couple of craft patterns by Marty Mitchell. I don't know who Marty Mitchell is. And I'm saving the best for last because this is truly weird. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking it's for like a Santa doll. It's not. It's a Santa Claus costume for a man. And then the Santa dolls also included. Oh, and this actually has line drawings. But this is a Santa Claus costume for a man, size large, which is a 42 to 44-inch chest. And I'll show you the line drawings on the back. But how cool is that? I mean, I realize somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew that like there was a Santa Claus costume pattern somewhere, right? I mean, there has to be, right? But I didn't realize I had it. So I was very excited. But anyway, that is all I got done this week. And I'm so sorry. I did do lots of other things. I cleaned up and I'm looking around. I cleaned up and reorganized my sewing room to a certain extent. And there's a lot more space to walk and stuff here. So I'm very happy about that. And really, other than that, I'm just prepping for Christmas. I only have 4 days next week. Now, I want to do an episode on Sunday, but there's a problem. My friends want to do like a girls' day out before we really get, deep into Christmas. And we're on a thread, right? You're on a text thread. So like this one can't make Sunday morning, but she can do Sunday afternoon. And this one can't do Saturday afternoon, but she could do Saturday, so we're going back and forth. So I don't know when we're actually there is in Philadelphia, there's a thing they do every year. It's the Christmas Village. It's lights. It's really beautiful. And we were all going to take the train up there. And then we were going to meet later and just get pizza with the kids and the husbands and everything. Right. But I don't know what time. I don't know which day, which is all of this is a problem because I need to get my sister to walk my dog because I'm probably going to be gone for about 10, 12 hours, right? So somebody needs to come and walk him. I still don't know what's going on. So I may not know whether I'm going to do a little show next Sunday until like Thursday. But here's what I'm going to tell you. If I do a show next week, I am going to, before I start the See and Sews, because that's my next big push, is I have just a couple of patterns that I didn't finish when I was doing the vintage patterns that had been cut. And it's just like, it's about as many as I did this week. So I'm going to work on those so that if I do an episode, and I will let you guys know on Thursday, next Sunday, it's going to be vintage patterns that are cut that are from the Mrs. Landis series, because I kind of just want to get them out of the way. And then I think I'm going to move on to See and Sew. And I am contemplating, if I get these done this week, I might actually skip working on the See and Sew until I'm actually out for Christmas vacation. I'm sure I told you guys that I have like 11 days off this year. Because when I was organizing my storage unit, which now has the entire Etsy shop in it, I found about 30 kids patterns. And I think, and they're not, I haven't like processed them yet. And I think what happened is they were probably, when I was moving, they were just a bunch of kids patterns and I threw them into a box with other stuff because there was room in that box. So I didn't even know they were in there. But as far as I know, they're uncut. They seem to be all be uncut. So I may, in the next 2 weeks, we might be doing some more vintage cut patterns, some children's vintage patterns, uncut. And then I'll start working on See and Sew. And I'm going to try and block out the See and Sew into two, kind of, I don't think I'm going to do Christmas because it's Christmas, but I'm thinking of doing like a Monday afternoon, because I think a lot of people will have off on Monday, and then I'll do like a New Year's Day. My goal for New Year's Day is to have all those See and Sews done, up online, and ready to be put in a filing cabinet because I want to get them out of my car. But that is what I'm working on. I am going to continue to work on this skirt. I will definitely post some of my, progress as I get things done. First, I have to correct my mistakes. Then I'll work on the progress. I do have this Friday off, which is interesting because I didn't think we had any days off because it's December and we have 11 days off. So why would we have time off? But for some reason, the teachers need an in-service. So Friday the 8th, I have off. I'm very excited about it. I think I'm going to work on that skirt like all day. I may just completely play hooky from the rest of my life and just work on that skirt. So until next time, tell me what you think of these patterns. Olivia, just for you, I'm going to show the Holly Hobby pattern again, because if you look at it closely, can you see that she's like about to drop that cat, right? I know. And then she's holding some wildflowers, and we never did see her face, did we? We never saw Holly Hobby's face. It was just always this with the bonnet, right? So until next week, I hope wherever you are, it's nice, not where I am, where it's cold and rainy, nasty, nasty weather. I hope that you're doing well. Don't let the holidays get you too stressed out. I know how it gets. I get the same way. Let's all relax, right? And until then, have a great week. I am hoping to see you Sunday. I will let you guys know by Thursday. I will put a post in the community file. And, we never did see it. Okay, Olivia has confirmed we never saw Holly Hobby's face. kind of shady. But anyway, so until next week, I hope you're all doing well. Like, subscribe, comment, and until then, careful as you go. Bye.